Hi folks, back again at the storage unit for the next edition of Storage Unit Chronicles, for lack of a better title. uh, this box here is another one of those boxes that has all the same character in it. These are all Batman comics, so let's see what sort of stuff we have in here. And the lead off is All-Star Batman and Robin by Frank Miller and Jim Lee. This is the infamous Batman and Robin with if anybody's ever heard the phrase, "I'm the goddamn Batman," that's where that came from. That was in this series. So, you know, very interesting stuff, of course. There's a couple of issues of that, Batman and up to number 7. I only have a handful of those. This is Batman Adventures, which unfortunately the most well-known issue of this series, but this is based on the very popular cartoon series. The most popular issue of this is number 12, which introduces Harley Quinn, which of course I don't have, but you know, that would be a really great issue to have. However, the series itself is really excellent, I must say. So it was as good as the cartoon series was. This is Batman Adventures, which was a later version of the series. This one's written by Dan Slott, who did many issues of Spider-Man. So, and there's Phantasm. I believe he was introduced in one of the first animated specials of Batman. This is Batman and Robin Adventures. So that one's from, looks like the mid-90s.
Is that Two-Face on the cover?
That's Two-Face, all right. Paul Dini, who I think is the co-creator of Harley Quinn, so always worth checking his work out. This is Batman Bane of the Demon by Chuck Dixon, and I forget what Nolan's first name is. Let's see. Look at this, a rare time where I'm actually going to open up one of the issues. Oh, Graham Nolan. So Chuck Dixon and Graham Nolan. So yeah, that's Bane of the Demon miniseries. So I have 1, 2, and 3, but it's 4 issues. That looks like Talia al Ghul on the cover there. So I only have 3 of the issues, but still worth checking into. This is Batman versus Bane. This is a one-shot from the New 52 era in the this is 2014, so that was when DC relaunched everything at that time. And this is a newer version of Batman Beyond, so this might be like the 5th or 6th iteration of Batman Beyond. This is from 2010, but still, they were always pretty entertaining stories. So if you can see, I have a few issues of that. Here's Batman Black and White, which is an anthology with many writers and artists taking their crack at Batman. It's always interesting. Batman Blackest Night, which came out in 2009. That's 1 of 3. Unfortunately, I only have the first one. This is Batman Creature of the Night, Book 1. Kurt Busiek and John Paul Leon. And I have both of those, so if you're interested, obviously just let me know. Batman the Cult, Jim Starlin, Bernie Wrightson. Very interesting series. All of these are interesting, I mean, let's be real. Batman Dark Detective. This was Steve Englehart and Marshall Rogers made a great return to Batman after their excellent 1970s tenure, which lasted only, I think, 6 issues, which is a crime because they really had some great stories, including Joker Fish and things like that. So that's nice to see them back. This is Batman Nightfall, written by Snyder, who did a lot of recent Batman stuff. So this is Tales from the Dark Multiverse. I have 2 copies of that. This is Batman Day, a free issue, a Barnes & Noble exclusive. So, and here's Batman Day of Judgment, Batman Full Circle, Mike W. Barr, Alan Davis. This one is The Next Batman, which has a whole list of creators along the side here. So I'm wondering if there are multiple stories in here. I don't actually know. But this is Batman Future State. So this is issue number 3. So obviously I don't have the first issue, which is a shame, but this was a more ongoing series, Batman Gotham Knights number 2. This one's written by Devin Grayson, who of course no relation to Dick Grayson, of course, but she did some great work on this title, and great stories in here. So as you can see, I have multiple issues of this. This is a reference to Batgirl getting paralyzed by the Joker.
Until she becomes Oracle, isn't it?
That's right. And then they did away with that whole storyline too and restored her, but yeah, it's comic books. So, yeah, it's just some great art also on the cover. I believe these are a lot of Brian Bolland covers, which, you know, anytime he's involved, you'll really get a great cover. That's Batman Gotham Knights by John Ostrander. And this is Batman Haunted Gotham by Doug Mensch, who was a longtime Batman writer as well. Got a couple of issues of that. And this is Batman Incorporated. I think that in the interest of making this go a little bit faster, I'm going to not pause as much, but just let you see some of the covers. So this is Snyder Capullo, Batman Last Night on Earth, and Legends of the Dark Knight, which was, as it says, the first new Batman solo book since 1940. And this went on for quite a while. I think this went on for about 200 issues. So, and there's plenty of that. And this was nice because it also had a rotating cast of creators. So that definitely was able to, you know, get some different people working on Batman. Venom, this is by Denny O'Neil. Faith, that's Mike W. Barr. Part 2 by Stephen Grant, that's Criminals. This is great. It really had some James Robinson, who did great work on Starman. Greg Rucka, who did great work also. He had a great run on Detective Comics as well. Very much worth checking out. That's Two-Face, Gordon, and Batman all in one cover. And here's the annual. Now, this is another one, a great series, I think, one of my favorites of Batman in the 80s. He left the Justice League temporarily and formed his own team called Batman and the Outsiders. And that was a really great run for a while by Mike W. Barr and Jim Aparo.
It sounds like a band name.
It does, kind of. But, yeah, they had some really fun stories. This was a crossover with Teen Titans. And, yeah, it was interesting. Just some new stories for Batman and him operating outside of the Justice League for a time. Introduced some new characters and brought in some old characters like Black Lightning, and he's one of the ones they brought more into the fold. Metamorpho's in there. This is Kitana, who was a new character, and this is Geoforce, who was kind of created at the time for these. Just very interesting approach.
Is that the same Katana from the first Suicide Squad movie?
I don't think so, but it could be, because I don't know much about
Her
that.
soul traps the souls
Oh no,
of her victims.
Katana is it's from which one? Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
Then yeah, actually it could be, because I believe that her sword did trap the souls of its victims. So,
Oh yeah, there's art showing it.
Yeah, so I guess that is true. That that is the same Katana. Yeah. And there she is. You give a little bit of her backstory. This is her husband. So, and tells you a little bit of how she came to be, why she is the way she is. So, yeah, there's really, just really interesting stories. I mean, here's Maxie Zeus, who appeared in the Batman TV show. The one that was around 2005, I think, is when that one was released, with the Edge theme song.
Yes, yeah. 2003, 2005, something like that.
So, yeah, and as you can see, I have a bunch of these because I was obviously a big fan, so I made it a point to get these to possibly pass on to other readers. This is Batman Odyssey. Neil Adams did some work with Batman. He's really more well known for his work in the 70s, but he did some good work and came back to the Batman. This is in September 2010. And this is more Batman the Outsiders, a newer version. Batman versus Predator. Excuse me. Batman Shadow of the Bat, which was another ongoing series. I don't know how long this one went on, but these are Nightfall related issues. There's Shadow of the Bat 83, so it went on for a while. Now, this one said Gale, so I'm wondering if that's Bob Gale, who was a co-writer of the Back to the Future movie, and he did some work, comic book work as well. I think he might have done some Daredevil issues as well. But, so yeah, these are some Shadow of the Bat. And then this is Batman's Second Son. Spawn Batman. Got a couple of those. There's Batman Spawn, not to be outdone. This is Batman Superman, another series that was very popular, just kind of highlighting the two of them and their long-standing team-ups. Batman Tenses 1 and 2, Untold Legend of the Batman, which was just an interesting look at Batman talking about various topics that are in his past. And of course, this is a smaller version. I don't know if these are exactly ash cans, but they're smaller versions of the same stories. I have that whole series in that format. This is Batman Urban Legends, which is another anthology series, all stories about Batman. And Batman White Knight, which for me in recent memory, this is, I don't even know, 2015 maybe. This is one of my favorite Batman stories in the more modern era of Batman, and it's got great art, so very highly recommended. Really a great story about the contrast between Batman and the Joker and their various personas and roles. This is Batman. This is more of the Batman, Batman the White Knight. This is Robin in that era. So yeah, there's plenty of that stuff. And this is Batman Who Laughs. It's a 7-issue series by Snyder. It's Scott Snyder. And this is a Jock cover who does a really very well-known covers. People really like his work. And then back here is DK3, which is The Dark Knight, another follow-up by Frank Miller after his incredible seminal Dark Knight in the 80s. And he came back in the, I think this is the mid-2000s that he came back, and he went at it again with some help from Brian Azzarello. So there are a bunch of these issues. And then there were, Superman, of course, appears, and there's Batgirl. So I have a few issues of that. And then there are some related ones. Dark Knight Returns, The Golden Child. And then there's Dark Knight's Metal, which was a miniseries that Scott Snyder had done, which celebrated his love of metal music and Batman. And I'm not entirely sure. I read this, and it was really interesting, and the art was great. So there's all these issues of Metal. I think I might have the whole series here, and then here's Dark Knight Death Metal, ready for the encore. And there's a few more issues of that. There's Death Metal again with some variant covers, and that's it for Batman. So that's just a taste of the Batmans. I have a lot of other Batmans. Of course, there's the entire Detective Comics and the entire Batman runs. I have a lot of that stuff. So if you're interested in Batman, please contact me, reach out to me, and tell me what you're interested in. I'll even make a video of the boxes if you want to see what I have. So thank you again for listening, and talk to you soon.